Welcome, duelists, one and all. It's time for Rage of the Abyss, a set that has so many cool new cards. We're actually going to be looking at two distinct groups of archetype support cards. The first of which will help us slash through the competition. That'll be some all-new 6 Samurai cards. And if you're gassed up about Goblin Bikers, I've got good news for you. We'll take a look at some all-new Goblin Biker support cards as well. Finally, we'll be looking at a brand new Mulcharmy card that might change tournament play forever. But let's take a look as we gaze deep into the abyss of Rage of the Abyss.
Before we get started, remember, you can find your packs of Rage of the Abyss at your official tournament store when it drops on October 9th, and everywhere you find your Yu-Gi-Oh cards on October 11th.
The 6 Samurai are no stranger to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, and there have been so many iterations of the deck throughout the ages. It doesn't take many new support cards to change how this deck plays, so let's take a look at all the great new stuff you can find in Rage of the Abyss.
First up, let's talk about Anarchist Monk of the 6 Samurai. If you control a 6 Samurai monster other than Anarchist Monk of the 6 Samurai, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Anarchist Monk of the 6 Samurai once per turn this way. You can only use each of the following effects of Anarchist Monk of the 6 Samurai once per turn. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one 6 Samurai quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. And a 6 Samurai monster that was synchro summoned using this card gains this effect. The levels of all monsters your opponent controls are reduced by 1. So let's take a look at what we've really just seen. First off, this is an easy card to pile on top of the field with a non-tutor monster to make for a quick synchro summon. And speaking of quick, if you send it to the graveyard, including as a synchro material, you'll go ahead and get to add a 6 Samurai quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. Finally, you also get to meddle with your opponent's monsters, so if they were trying to line themselves up for a Synchro or Xyz summon, you have thrown a wrench in their gears. Not to be outdone, take a look at Tactical Trainer of the 6 Samurai. Similarly, if you control a 6 Samurai monster other than Tactical Trainer of the 6 Samurai, you could special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon one of those Tactical Trainer of the 6 Samurai once per turn that way. You can only use each of the following effects of Tactical Trainer of the 6 Samurai once per turn, but if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, including for a synchro summon, you can add one 6 strike card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. A 6 Samurai synchro monster that was synchro summoned using this card gains this effect. Monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack. So similar to the Anarchist Monk, the Tactical Trainer of the 6 Samurai will help you get into those synchro monsters and punish your opponent just for executing your own game plan. Up next is our first new Legendary Lord 6 Samurai, Shien. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add a 6 Samurai monster or Shien effect monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use that effect once per turn. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. If this card on the field will be destroyed by battle or card effect, similar to the other Shien monsters, you can destroy one monster you control instead. This is a very powerful effect we don't usually see on monsters of this size. You'll find that Legendary Lord 6 Samurai Shien is a powerful ally or a fearsome foe for your opponents. A samurai's steel is only as strong as the blade he clashes against, and Legendary Lord 6 Samurai Anishi spells that point out exactly. Warrior monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense during the battle phase only. And if this card is synchro summoned, you can banish any number of 6 Samurai monsters from the graveyard, then target that many monsters your opponent controls and return those monsters to the hand. If Legendary Lord 6 Samurai Anishi is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one of your banished 6 Samurai monsters. So, not only does it bring a little bit more power to that battle phase, but it also gives you a powerful way to bounce your opponent's cards back to the hand. And if something happens to Anishi, well, worry not, one of his steadfast allies will storm the field to take his place. A samurai implies multiple techniques, so let's take a look at 6 Strike Double Assault. First, you can apply one of these effects, or if you control 2 or more 6 Samurai monsters, you can apply both in sequence. First, you'll special summon a 6 Samurai monster with 2,000 or less attack from your hand or graveyard. Then, change one monster your opponent controls with 2,000 or less attack to face down defense position. Finally, during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a 6 Samurai monster in that graveyard and add it to your hand. So, 2 great ways to get into the game, but one way to bring everything back with a few more resources at the ready.
One great set of support cards deserves another. We've seen how the 6 Samurai are about to change in Rage of the Abyss, but let's see what new tools the Goblin Bikers have to play with now.
Some Goblin Bikers go crazy, but these Goblin Bikers go wild. If you control no monsters, or all monsters you control are Goblin monsters, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Goblin monster from your deck. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one card on the field, attach it to a Goblin Xyz monster you control. It's a great tool. Given the fact that it's level 6, it also opens up some crazy new opportunities to make some rank 6 Xyz monsters. And Goblin Bikers Gone Wild fits perfect with the synergy the deck already has by removing and replacing Xyz materials, including targeting your opponent's cards to make them your Goblin Bikers' new Xyz material. As you can see, Goblin Bikers are all about taking advantage of some great Xyz monsters and some powerful ways to get Xyz materials attached to them. Let's talk about Goblin Biker Grand Breakout for more of the same. First, you'll tribute a monster and special summon a Goblin monster from your deck, but it cannot attack this turn. However, when a monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard and attach any number of materials from Goblin Xyz monsters you control. All monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1,000 attack for each material detached until the end of this turn. So, it's a great way to use your Xyz materials, and as you know, some Goblin Bikers, they love detaching Xyz materials because it's the condition to activate their effect. A Goblin Biker Grand Crisis? Now I've seen everything. Well, you could target a Goblin monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, or target a Goblin monster in your graveyard and one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish both monsters. You can also send this face-up card from the Spell and Trap Zone to the graveyard, then target 5 of your banished Goblin monsters with different names and special summon them. This is a great card for later in the game and also serves as some great spot removal.
Well, Goblin Bikers certainly have some brand new tools to get them through to the next checkpoint, but we did talk about a new Mulcharmy, so let's take a look at what we've got here.
So this is it, Mulcharmy Fualos, the card everyone has been waiting for. If you control no cards, quick effect, you can discard this card and apply these effects this turn. First, each time your opponent special summons a monster from the deck and or extra deck, immediately draw one card. Once during this end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls, plus 6, you must randomly shuffle cards from your hand into the deck so the number in your hand equals the number your opponent controls, plus 6. You can only activate one other Mulcharmy monster effect the turn you activate this effect. Wait, that means I can activate 2 copies of Mulcharmy Fualos in one turn? Or mix and match with Mulcharmy Purulia? This is going to really impact tournament play because it gives you multiple ways to punish your opponent for doing what it is they intended to do. It gives you the resources you need, and while you might randomly shuffle those cards back into the deck at the end of the turn, you also could be playing those cards if you drew powerful monsters who can activate from the hand. I know that this is going to be quite a powerful card as we go into the competitive season for Rage of the Abyss.
There's a lot of great new decks you can build with all the new cards in Rage of the Abyss. Whether you're doing a dedicated 6 Samurai deck, cleaning up your Goblin Bikers, or, well, you're just using that new Mulcharmy to the best of your abilities. I'm really excited to see what you get out of Rage of the Abyss, but only one way to find out. It's time to take the plunge.
If you want to jump into Rage of the Abyss, you'll find everything you need at your official tournament store when the set drops on October 9th, and wherever you get your Yu-Gi-Oh products on October 11th.